It's time for the Splash Live from Civic Center TV, featuring stories from and about people like you in the Greater West Bloomfield area. Simulcast on cable, 89.3 Lakes FM, social media, and the web. Now live from Green Media Center on Walnut Lake Road, it's the Splash Live.
Live, local, social. It's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Thank you for being here. I'm your host, Kevin McIntosh. Starting with our top story of the day, the West Bloomfield Township Board of Trustees recently voted to raise water and sewer rates, starting with the July 1st meter read. This is in order to address inflation, aging infrastructure, and revenue shortfalls. Since this is a topic that will ultimately affect residents, especially during the summer months where water usage is up, many people have questions, and joining us on the Splash Live is West Bloomfield Township Supervisor Jonathan Warshay to answer some of those questions. Thank you for being here, Mr. Warshay.
Thank you for having me, Kevin. Good morning.
Thank you. And we just want to address some of these issues so we can answer some of these questions immediately and as soon as possible. Just starting with the why now. What were the most urgent factors that made this the right time for a water rate increase?
Well, I don't know that there's ever a right time for an increase, at least as far as the public is concerned, but we have 4 or 5 main things that occurred, events. One is Great Lakes Water Authority, from whom we buy our water, had a larger rate increase. Just to give folks a little background, it used to be Detroit Water that became Great Lakes, and when it became a regional water authority, they agreed not to have more than 4% increases for 10 years. Okay. That 10 years is up, so the rate was more than 4%. We also have 2 sewer systems that West Bloomfield is part of. Those are through the county. One covers more the northern part, one the southern part, and both of those had larger rate increases. Because we don't control either of those factors, we sort of have to go along for the ride. So that's part of it. We also, those systems needed capital improvements, and those extra costs get passed on to us as well. We also have aging infrastructure within the township. So a lot of our water mains were built 50 years or more ago, and those things have deteriorated, and we're going through a program to replace them. Right. Rather than have a break all of a sudden and put people in the lurch. So those are quite expensive. We're doing one, for example, in the West Acres area that we're going to work on. It was scheduled to be $11.5 million, and it's pushing 14. So those things all go into the water rate. And then the last thing, which sounds a little strange, is water loss through the system. Unlike your house, water pipes in the township and everywhere else will leak a little bit, the water mains. Great Lakes Water Authority had a bad meter, a giant meter that the township was using to measure the water that we use throughout the township. It was under-reading the amount of water that was being done, so they weren't charging us the full amount. Wow. They replaced the meter, and we went from, it was so defective, in fact, that sometimes we used more water than we got billed for. So now we're paying for it. So yeah. We lose about 10% of the water through the system. And just so folks know, we are doing a sound study where they use sound throughout the pipes to detect leaks. If it's a large leak, they fix it immediately. And if it's a smaller leak, then it goes on a list, and we'll be addressing all of those. And that way, we'll only be paying for the water that we actually use. And that'll decrease cost to some amount.
Wow, a lot of different factors, and I'm so glad you took the time to explain that because it adds context and perspective to this situation where a lot of people are just going to get those bills and say, what's going on here? But now that you're added that information, I think it kind of explains a little bit more. Specifically with the infrastructure, I want to go into that. How does this decision support the township's long-term plan for infrastructure?
So we look through how old the pipes are in different areas and if there's been issues, and those are the ones that get done sooner. We have capital improvement projects over the years, and so we try to get to all of the water mains as part of that. So we work in different parts of the township to replace those. Since we are talking about bills, I'll use mine as an example. My last water bill was a little over $200. So if my water usage is the same, my bill will go up $45, $50. Now that's a quarter, so we're talking $15 to $20 a month for my house. Now, folks that have more people in the house using water, or if they have a pool, they're certainly going to see a larger increase than that. Now, as I just said, we bill quarterly, so every 3 months you get a bill. I know that most people do their budgets monthly, so a quarterly bill is a little harder to budget for. So what we're planning to do next year is to go to monthly billing.
Okay.
Just to that should make it easier on everyone. We've currently half our meters are smart meters. So what that means is the water usage gets fed into our water department 4 times a day for each house. And what that does, not so much that we're trying to see what people are doing, but if there's a leak, we'll know within a day rather than somebody getting a bill after a quarter with a high amount. There's also an app called Eye on Water. So if your house has one of these smart meters, and I'll let folks know, if you don't have one now, we're still doing it. It'll probably be another 4 years before everyone is on the smart meters.
Okay.
But if you have a smart meter, you can have an app called Eye on Water, and it'll alert you to leaks. You tell how many people are in your house. You can indicate if you have a pool or if you're using sprinklers, so that it sort of educates it to know how much water usage to expect, and then it'll alert you if you are using higher than normal use water.
Seems like it's a very handy tool to keep in mind, and we're hoping that our audience took note of that and go ahead to find out how you can get one of those smart meters as well. But with me right here live on the Splash, by the way, we have West Bloomfield Township Supervisor Jonathan Warshay discussing the new vote from the West Bloomfield Township Board of Trustees raising the water and sewage rates that will go into effect July 1st. And we're just talking about the reason behind the increase as well. Now, one thing I want to talk about before we let you go is the cost of living and everything rising. Everything is getting more expensive, and now we have this to add on top of it. So I want you to address this. With the rising cost of living, how is the township working to ease the burden of these higher water bills for our lower income households or even our fixed income residents like our retirees?
Well, it's certainly, as I mentioned, getting rid of the leaks to reduce the costs is the biggest thing that we can do, and that's why we have those capital improvement programs. But folks can also get help if they need financial help for their bills. They can call our water department at 248-451-4780. And there's a couple of programs out there that folks can use for help. One is through the Greater Lakes Water Authority, and the second is through the United Way. And again, if you call our water department at 248-451-4780, they will give you information on those programs, what you need to apply, that kind of stuff, so that you can get some help with your bills.
Great, and thank you for providing that information as well. We'll try to provide that to our audience as well, just as a recap. Mr. Warshay, we appreciate you for taking time out of your very busy schedule to take this time to explain to us this. Any additional key information you would like to let residents know before we let you go today?
Well, the approach we took was to sort of get the get the water rates back on track for now so that we don't have to increase it as much later. And that's our goal. Of course, we're sort of at the mercy again of what Great Lakes Water Authority and the county does. We're hoping they keep theirs down, but by doing the jump now, hopefully it won't be so painful later. And I know that's not a lot of consolation, but that was the thinking of the board in doing so.
Yeah, and I mean, in the long run, essentially, it should save us a little bit of pain, and I completely understand that. And we thank you so much for your time and your information. Once again, West Bloomfield Township Supervisor, Mr. Jonathan Warshay.
Thank you, Kevin. Thanks for having me.
Well done, well said, and we're continuing to give you the information that you need regarding this situation and more. Once again, if you are curious about other options regarding your potential water bill increase, you can reach out to the local water authority, 248-451-4780 for more information. Excessive heat often coincides with high UV index levels, which significantly increases the risk of sunburn, premature aging, and skin cancer, specifically during midday hours, which is 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., just in case you didn't know that. Now, we are actually being joined by Dr. Molly Powers of Henry Ford Hospital's Department of Dermatology to explain a little bit more. Thank you for being here, Dr. Powers.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
And we appreciate that. So let's get straight into it. We've been experiencing some hot days recently. It's like the sun is literally right here in Greater West Bloomfield. Let's talk about what are some of the top sun protection concerns that you're seeing right now with this extreme heat affecting our residents.
Oh, it's been so hot. And with that comes our human nature to want to cool down and also enjoy the most out of our summer. So, what we're seeing a lot are more and more sunburns. People are going out and seeking water sports and playing in pools and trying to keep cool. But with that and being outside and being in the sun definitely adds more ultraviolet radiation. So I'm seeing a lot of patients coming in after long weekends at a lake or in a pool or at a splash pad. And when they're playing in the water and not using the right sun protective tools, it increases your risks for burns and ultimately sun damage and DNA damage in our skin later on.
Yeah, I was reading the notes. It was saying increased aging and stuff like that. I like to go outside and get my vitamin D from the sun as well, but if it's gonna make me age faster, you can keep me in the house for all of that. That's kind of crazy. So, I mean, but we like to enjoy it. We've been in the house all winter, Dr. Powers. We want to get outside now. So for us that want to go outside, enjoy time on a lake, on our boats, or just out on the splash pad for a couple hours, what's your advice for that long-term sun protection during those heat waves?
Yeah, I feel that too. These Michigan winters are long and we had not so great spring. So we definitely want to make the most out of our summers, but there's a safe way to do it. It's really about the adequate sun protection. So sunscreen, particularly broad spectrum sunscreen, that's protecting against UVA damage and UVB. So that's the type of ultraviolet. Also, wearing sun protective clothing. I think this is often underutilized, wearing long rash guards, wide brim hats, and let's not forget to protect our eyes because I see skin cancers on the eyelids, the lower eyelids. We need to protect all of our skin. Additionally, the simplest thing is just try to avoid those peak sun hours that you mentioned, 10 and 4. Those are the times of the day where it's really the most damaging to our skin. So if we could try to get a morning time outside and then maybe a later afternoon, evening time outside to get our vitamin D and fun in the sun, that's a lot safer than going out in the middle of the day.
Woo, because it felt like an oven out there. I'm not going to lie to you. But, ultimately, like you said, we want to go outside. We want to enjoy our time. But we have to be, like, I don't think people really understand the precautions and the dangers of being in the sun so long and exposing yourself to it as well. And with me right here live on The Splash, by the way, Dr. Molly Powers from Henry Ford Hospital, Department of Dermatology, talking about protecting our skin from the sun, these heat waves. It can get crazy out there. Now, I do want to talk about this, right? I mean, you just gave some great advice and things of that nature for the average resident, but what about for our most vulnerable populations, the children, the seniors? Do you have any advice or specific precautions that you recommend for that population?
Yeah, for our kids, they love to be outside. Let's start with infants. If a child is less than 6 months, really we should be prioritizing sun avoidance or sun protective clothing. The American Academy of Pediatrics recommends sunscreen for 6 months or older. I also recommend, so when the child is 6 months or older, it's safe to start using a zinc oxide or a titanium dioxide sunscreen. Hat, shade, and of course, I mean, we're talking just about the skin. It's also important to protect them from the heat.
Right. Yeah.
Children, infants, they don't have the same mechanisms to cool themselves down, and they can't tell us. So it's very important to have safe heat practices for that population. Now, in particular, the older population, it can be quite complicated because some of our older population is also on medications that can make them more sensitive to the sun. They might be out in the sun trying to do their work that they need to do around the house. So it's very important that we educate our older population about medication interactions, trying to be out earlier in the day or later in the day. And let's check on our neighbors. We're a community here, and we should be checking on our younger and our older friends and family and neighbors to make sure everyone's doing okay, especially with some of the power outages and the inability to seek cooler, temperature controlled climates indoors.
Well said. Yeah, no, it's a good time to go out and do that, especially if you know you do have an older neighbor or something like that, and they might need some care or someone to look out for them. Yeah, just pay them a visit. Just make sure, too, because, even the ACs, like using the AC at home during that time, 10 to 4, like they can hit you over the head just for those charges. So it's so many different things that go into play with this heat and how we can kind of manage ourselves and our home and our temperatures. But we're glad to have you here to kind of break some of that stuff down as well. Now, I just have a random question. Let's say someone wants to get out. This is their tradition, to get outside, soak in this sun, and just like let it absorb in their skin for some time. Like, how long or when should someone know, like, I've been outside too long and I need to like leave? Like, is there marks on your body? Like, give me some signs.
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, really, anytime you're going to be under direct sunlight, you should be using sunscreen. And because there's no amount of safe sun exposure that we know of. So you have to be using sunscreen. I have tons of friends who love to be in the sun, and I try to tell them, wear your sunscreen. It can lead to skin cancer, like you mentioned, premature aging, signs of too much sun. Your skin can develop a heat rash, so you can get red bumps from the sun. You can get little, like another type of sweat rash where your sweat glands are working too much and it causes these little fluid-filled bumps from the sun. So it's more than just sun damage and the increased risk of skin cancer and aging. It can lead to a lot of heat rashes. And that's not fun either, because heat rashes, once your skin isn't working properly, it can't keep you cool the way it needs to. So we really need to take care of our largest organ, which is our skin.
True. Skin cancer and bumps and aging. That makes me, I'm almost scared of the sun at this point. I'm about to avoid the sun altogether.
No, don't be afraid. We want to have fun. We're in Michigan. We earned our summers. Let's enjoy it, but let's do it safely.
No, well said, and we appreciate that. Thank you again for your time, Dr. Power. Any additional information that we didn't go over that you want to share with our residents before we let you go?
I guess one of the things I want to talk about is I hear a lot of patients who say, I'm in the shade, I'm never in the sun. And I just want to say the shade is not adequate sun protection. So wear your sunscreen, wear your sun protective clothing, have fun this summer, be safe from the heat. And thanks so much for having me.
No, thank you for your professional expertise and information. Once again, Dr. Molly Powers, Henry Ford Hospital, Department of Dermatology. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, great information right there. A lot of stuff that I didn't know either, but great information to have in mind when we are outside enjoying this weather. So we'll continuously keep you updated as well. In the lakes-rich Greater West Bloomfield area, calm waters, nature, and a strong wellness community makes it an ideal hub for Misty Markham's Luna Moon stand-up paddleboarding. And Misty recently decided to offer stand-up paddleboarding yoga certifications. We actually had a chance to speak to Misty about the classes and the training itself. Misty Markham, how you doing, Misty?
Good. Thanks for having me, Kevin.
Yeah, you like that energy in that intro. I see that right there. So I see that we have this this certification class. I want to talk about that, but before we do, let's add some context, right? So many beautiful lakes right here in our Greater West Bloomfield area. I want you to tell us what makes our community a special place for people to learn and just practice paddleboarding safety.
Absolutely, because there are so many lakes and a ton of places to go and enjoy them, including our even bigger Great Lakes. And, you know, what's more important than knowing what to do in an emergency situation, or just to be able to teach like your other friends and that kind of thing. The training is pretty intense, I will say, even if you decide to do just the flat water one portion of it. And, there's anything can happen at any moment, right? And we're just trying to, even if you weren't interested in getting a full certification certificate, let's say, that weekend I am providing at least the fundamentals for people to join, and that may mean that they already have some paddle experience being out on our waters, but want to take it a little bit further and making sure that they're doing it safely and wisely.
Oh, yeah. Anytime we're around water, we want safety first and foremost, and then the fun can come after that. So, okay, so that sounds good. So let's get into your inspiration, right? What inspired you to become a professional stand-up paddle association certified instructor?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And, you know, I've always loved the water. I've been a water kid my whole life, but, you know, with safety, with all the fun, just like you said, not to take all the fun out of it, there's still, you know, a water safety portion of it. And the manual is pretty thick. It's intense book. So not only are you learning to perfect your paddle or to do it correctly and then to teach others as well, back to the water safety portion, just rescue techniques, learning hands-on, getting real-time feedback and being able to practice on one another. It's pretty vital, and it's what a great way to do it in the summer when it starts to get pretty hot. Last year was pretty warm, and we were happily to get in the water and start practicing those techniques on each other.
There you go. Okay. So that kind of leads me into my next inquiry. Why did you decide to want to teach others how to be instructors like yourself?
Yeah, well, you know, it's funny because we do so much stuff online now. And even back when I was doing my own research as well, there were some YouTube videos starting to come out so that you could get an idea. I searched a lot of times for someone or anybody to answer a lot of questions about even just gear. Do I have the right board? Am I setting this up right? Maybe my paddle even, that kind of thing. And you can only learn so much online. And when I did my research and I found where I wanted to go, I had to go all the way to San Diego with a board, a GoPro, and a notebook. And, you know, I came home with a ton of information, some great contacts of people who wanted to be in the sport just as much as I did. And it's just having respect for the sport and just learning, you know, more intensely.
There it is. There it is. So bringing more people into, giving away the secret sauce, essentially, but we're doing it for a great cause. I love that. With me right here live on The Splash, by the way, owner of Luna Moon SUP, stand-up paddleboarding, Misty Markham, talking about her new certification classes for you to be a professional stand-up paddle association certified trainer right here in our Greater West Bloomfield waters course. So let's talk about the training. Of course, so you talked about the seriousness of the safety. You talked about how thick the book is. That seems very, very serious, but it is necessary. So how do you balance the training, the fun part of the training, paddleboarding, with the water safety and emergency preparedness?
Absolutely. Like I was saying about having that serious part of it, but taking it on the water and just practicing on each other and having fun with it. You know, I've watched other videos as well where they're doing the same training. There's a flip technique, so you get in the water and you flip the board, and you're trying to get maybe the victim back on. Maybe they're conscious or unconscious, and it does become a little fun while you're still practicing those serious techniques. You may discover some things, you know, like, oh, wow, my watch got in the way while I was trying to do the flip rescue, because you're reaching for each other's wrist, right? The other thing, too, is just even setting up your gear and the paddle, like I said, holding it and then the proper technique and, you know, being 101 in front of people, you know, you still have fun with that no matter what. You know, you bring up a scenario like, okay, what if? Right? And you look out at the water and you try to paint a little picture of maybe a little wind coming from this direction. Now we watched over there and the wind changed. So what are we going to do? And how do we prepare for those types of scenarios on the water?
Okay. Yeah. It's being alert to your environment. Like you say, if everything is good and steady and we're checking everything out and it works, then go ahead and have your fun. But essentially, like you said, just be aware of your environment and all the different situations that could factor into water safety and emergency preparedness. So great for the context right there. I want you to explain this. If I'm not mistaken, there's two different certifications or classes that you're doing. You're doing the Flatwater 1 and then the yoga, SUP yoga. Can you talk about this? Am I getting that correct?
Yeah, exactly. Flatwater 1 technically is going to be all of those things I just mentioned about learning the gear, all the way down to holding your paddle, proper technique, how to teach others, and then the water safety part and practicing on each other. Once we kind of have all that down, and you want to take it a little bit further, the sub yoga portion is like part 2 essentially. You still have to have some requirements in there as well, like your 200-hour training on land and just being able to lead each other with poses, because now we're adding the water element. And again, back to our fun part where we, you know, teach someone these poses and technique on a paddleboard that's wobbly in the water. And so yeah, it is a part 2, like I said.
Oh my goodness. When I saw that, I said, am I reading this right? We're talking about yoga on a paddleboard in the middle of the lake. Can you just talk about that experience in general for people that may have done it, like doing it for the first time? What is that like? Yoga on a paddleboard on a lake.
It is so much fun. I mean, really, you've just taken away the 4 walls of being like in a studio. The boards I have they are pretty, they're inflatables. They sit pretty high off the water, probably about 3.5 inches off the water. So you're not sitting right in it. But it is a soft space for your knees and hands, and you know, and in my scenario, I have a pod, so they all connect around this pod, and we become this floating studio. And it's nice because when what is a little more challenging on the water, you know, it seems easy on land, and people applaud each other and say that was great, you know. And then you'll have somebody else who wants to take it a little bit further and go into headstands. And it's all just situational. It's open for any age, any type, you know, as long as you just have an open mind about it.
Now, if somebody's doing a headstand on a paddleboard in water, you are way too advanced for me, and I love to see it, to be honest with you. With me right here live on The Splash, by the way, owner of Luna Moon, stand-up paddleboarding. We have Misty Markham talking about her new certification classes for flat water training and stand-up paddle yoga training as well. Very, very interesting courses and activities in general. Can we just talk about, I guess the why someone should sign up for this. What ways do you see this training benefiting the Greater West Bloomfield community, either from a wellness or small business perspective?
Yes. Now, the certification itself, I mean, that's going to be more intense type of person maybe that would want to know all the details, every single bit of it. And then, of course, yoga is going a little bit further. You might want to do maybe flat water 1 first before you did yoga. And you may just want to stick with flat water 1, and that's just as fine. But this year, I am offering on Saturday just a portion for people who want to be more like in the fundamentals. So maybe it's not a full certification, that's a lot of commitment and time, I understand, and you may want to ease into that. So this is like a little bit of a level where you're getting a little bit of a taste. And like I said, not to receive a paper certification or anything like that, but to show up and hey, be with the trainees and see what it's like, and still walk away with a piece of knowledge on having a more of a proper paddle technique, water safety, obviously another issue, and then just maybe to teach like some of the, because we live around so many lakes, teach their neighbors or friends or their family that wanted to try it, but are still having a lot of trouble and they're not really sure why. I mean, you'd be surprised how many people can just stand on it backwards and they didn't realize they're on it backwards.
Right? That would be me right there. I don't even know which way it is. That's interesting. Okay, I don't want to hold you up too much more, Misty. I appreciate the time. Lastly, any advice for someone watching or listening who may be interested in the sub instructing, but maybe not even 100% sure? What would you tell them?
I would say reach out to me. I mean, I have a lot of experience, a lot of resources, and it just, simple call, visit my website, lunamoonsupyoga.com, and we can talk about certain things. Everybody is at different levels and have different questions and needs, so I just try to be flexible.
Yeah, be flexible, and be open-minded as well, and we appreciate you. Can't wait for the weather to officially break so we can get out there on that water. Once again, owner of Luna Moon, stand-up paddleboarding, Misty Markham, thank you again.
Thank you, I truly appreciate it.
If you yourself are interested in getting on the water or being an instructor yourself, you can visit Misty's website, lunamoonsupyoga.com, or if you're on Facebook, visit her on Facebook at Luna Moon SUP. As our local population gets a little bit older, technology continues to get a little bit more complex for some residents. There is an organization that is on a mission to help the local senior community adjust to the technology of the times. And joining me live on The Splash is Anushka Athreya, current president of Technology, and current president, or former president, I should say, Abi Athreya, to talk about their organization. Thank you for being here.
Hi, Kevin. Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I saw this. I said, Technology? That I already put it together in my head, but I want you all to break this down. First and foremost, Abi, let's start with you. What can you tell us about Technology and what it provides to the community?
It's a really great question, Kevin. So Technology is an organization that provides senior citizens with assistance on basic technology functions. So this is kind of an organization that's been a long time in the running. I think as kids, both Anushka and me have noticed that, our grandparents really struggle with technology, basic things like even sending a message, ordering something on Amazon.
Yeah.
So when I was back in high school, me and a buddy of mine kind of noticed that problem and decided we wanted to do something about it. We sent out a post on Nextdoor, the neighborhood community app, and we said, hey, does anyone need technology help? And we were reached out to by Dr. Gandhi, he's a University of Michigan alum, and someone who was also interested in the same space, and he had put together a set of 4 families who kind of wanted to assist in helping with the same thing. So we ended up meeting up kind of out of the blue, super random. We all had the same ideas, so we came together and we formed Technology. And I think you might already get this, but as the name suggests, technology plus Nana plus Nana, that's a word that's associated with grandmother in a bunch of different languages. So that's really what we are, right? We're bringing technology to nanas, and we want them to find the joy in using their phone, and rather than that being a struggle.
Man, yeah, I love that. You did just put that together too, Avi. I love that because that's what I was thinking. And then I thought too, like, is it Nana or Nana? I say both, depending on who it is. But ultimately, we know it means our grandmothers and our older parents and things like that. So I love that how you all brought that together. It seemed like it was divine as it came together. Now, Anushka, I want to ask you as well. Can you just walk us through the entire process of when someone reaches out and just talk about the issues that you typically assist with?
Yeah, so that's a great question. There's primarily kind of two ways that senior citizens reach out to us. The first is via our website. So seniors can kind of come on our website, and we have this page where they can kind of describe their issue, describe what's going on, and send that to us. We get that via our inbox, and we're able to either contact them or write them a response. The other way is through our sessions. So at West Bloomfield, that's at the West Bloomfield Library, and seniors can kind of come in and directly show us what's going on with their device. And we are able to then go ahead and personalize that experience, which is why that in-person experience tends to be where we get more seniors reaching out to us. And then,
okay, please.
Sorry, Kevin, could you repeat the second part of that question for me?
No, it was just essentially the type of issues that you assist with. Like, what are most of the seniors coming to you with assistance for?
Yeah, so most of the time we get issues related to iPhones, iPads, and then laptops. And so that is like the majority device. In terms of what issues there are, it tends to kind of vary between different apps. Sometimes we get questions about medical ID. Sometimes we get questions about storage on laptops. But there isn't really a particular issue. It almost always, though, tends to be that initial 30%. It's never anything very complicated.
Right. Okay, I imagine so. And then I thought about it when you said it. You said, yeah, they reach out to you on the website. I'm like, okay, so they can get on the website and message, but then maybe that's about the extent as they can go with the technology. They can send you a message, and then they're like, I don't know what to do from here. I don't know how to do the emails and everything else. So I imagine, like, your help steps in and helps a lot of people. I have grandmothers, even my mom herself sometimes have trouble with the technology. Now, I do want to ask, with this program, like, what is the cost? How can someone become eligible for this program and take advantage of it? You, Anushka, please.
Yeah, so in terms of what people get out of this program, I think it goes down to two things. It's confidence and it's joy. That is really the impact we are trying to bring in West Bloomfield. Because, and as Abhi mentioned, we see in our own grandparents, technology is a skill. It's like learning to ride a bike or learning how to play a sport. With any skill, there's always that moment when you get something, when you get how to use something, when you get what it actually does, that light bulb moment, that aha moment. Yeah. And obviously, again, ties it right back. Confidence and joy, that is really what we're trying to bring in the West Bloomfield community. And that is what we're hoping these seniors are getting out of our sessions.
Well said. Love that. And I know you're making a lot of people happy and feeling like they're catching up with the times as well. Now, Abby, just kind of getting on you, what kind of feedback or success stories can you kind of share with us from helping these seniors go from, lack of technology knowledge all the way to also being tech savvy, essentially?
Really great question. So I think one of the moments that really speaks to me is back when the organization first started. We really started just at the cusp of COVID. And so when COVID hit, we really had to reorg the entire thing, figure out how we're going to teach seniors in an age of Zoom where, there's a technology barrier to even enter a session that's supposed to teach you about technology.
Good point.
So we kind of pivoted the organization to talk about, as Anshu mentioned, things like working on medical ID. How do you get groceries delivered to your house so that you don't have to step outside? How do you, keep yourself occupied with some, interesting games and puzzles that you can find on your phone so you're not bored at home when you can't step outside? So I think that was a really interesting time for us, and we saw a lot of senior citizens benefit where, they weren't starved at home. They had things to do. We kept them engaged. They learned a lot. And we had so many senior citizens come to us through those Zoom sessions saying, hey, we really enjoyed this. All of our families always doing these super cool things with technology,
Right.
but we can never engage, and now we can. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Oh, man, that's super nice. And then, like I said, you just make them feel like they're part of society as we're moving with the technology and not like they're behind and everything like that. So you're bringing a great sense of community and everything with them as well, just beyond teaching them technology. But with us right here live on A Splash, former Technology President Abi Athreya and current Technology President Anushka Athreya, just talking about their organization, how they're helping out local seniors in our community adjust to technology of the times. Now, Anushka, getting to you, technology is evolving quick. It's even too fast for me. Sometimes I don't even know how to operate TikTok all the way. I'm going to be quite honest. So with technology constantly evolving, how does technology keep its volunteers updated on the latest trends and tools to assist the seniors?
Yeah, so there's really two main ways we do this. The first is that we have this entire team that's part of technology. That's entire job is to kind of just explore the new things that are going on with technology. It's like the new features on iOS with digital security becoming something that's so important. What are some new ways we can prevent scamming? And they kind of take this information and they relay it to the rest of the team. What goes with that is we have this really heavy vetting process for our volunteers because we want to make sure that when we take on volunteers, they're not only passionate about what our organization is doing, but they are also knowledgeable. So I think it's really those two things in tandem that are making sure that we as a team are staying updated on the latest trends and tools with technology.
Love that. Great. Because, it's so many moving parts with technology, different, actual devices, different software, then not to mention AI. There's so many different things to it and different things that are here to help us. We just have to keep up with it in general. And like I said, even for the younger population, it gets hard to keep up with. I'll be kind of asking you a question just in general. What are you looking forward to in the future with technology? What are the future goals?
So I think right now the main goal is, we have obviously a very strong presence in Michigan and in the Metro Detroit area. And we've been building that for the last 5 or 6 years. But how do we expand and maintain a robust presence in different metros and different states across the U.S.? We already have touch points in places like California and Texas, but we want to continue expanding that, reach as many senior citizens as possible. We're currently, and actually Anushka was one of the pivotal people in this, but putting together an AI chatbot to create kind of an initial touch point on the website and make the website experience 10 times better, and effectively just growing our touch points and our organization such that we can reach as many people as possible. One of the things we're doing right now specifically is also talking to, a lot of us at Technology are University of Michigan alums.
There you go.
For example, I just graduated from U of M, and a lot of our the folks who have been at Technology in the past are now University of Michigan students.
Nice.
So we're trying to form a partnership with the University of Michigan and hopefully get some of their students from a community service and a business perspective help us out as well.
Man, first and foremost, congratulations on graduating. Go Blue, Michigan, love it out there. But yeah, you two look so young. I can't even believe you just graduated from college. But being so young and reaching out to the generations ahead of you and helping them out, I gotta applaud you for that. Before I let you go, Anushka, can you just tell us if anyone is interested, want to find out more information, how can they do so?
Yeah, so first of all, thank you so much, Kevin, for having us on the show. And, for everyone watching at home, if you found what technology does to, be helpful to you or to someone please feel free to reach out to us via our website. We have our email. And then we also have our sessions at the West Bloomfield Library. Those are from 4 to 5:30. And we would love to see you guys there.
Technology.com for more information. Thank you both again for your time. Once again, former Technology President Abi Athreya and current Technology President Anushka Athreya. Thank you both.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Love this so much. Once again, another great organization doing great work for our senior community, I should say, helping them bridge the gap between what they know and our technology as well. We have so much more to present to you to help out our local community and things that are going on. We'll get into that coming up. And we are live, local, social. It's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live. Find local municipal meetings at our program schedule on civiccentertv.com. Find when your meetings air live or when they're replaying on our Civic Center TV live stream. Find it all at civiccentertv.com and click schedule at the top of the screen.
A breath of fresh air will do you a world of good. Breathe in deep and let fresh renew your spirit in pure Michigan.
Floodwaters can rise fast. Take precautions to stay safe. Follow the instructions of local officials and all emergency notifications. If authorities say evacuate, don't wait. Do not walk, swim, or drive through floodwaters. Just 1 foot of water can sweep away a vehicle. Never drive around barricades. You don't know what danger may be on the other side. For more tips on how to protect your family, visit ready.gov/floods.
Hello, my name is Danya Bazzi. I'm the superintendent of West Bloomfield School District. I want to congratulate Civic Center TV on hitting the amazing milestone of 1 million viewers. Your involvement in our community doesn't go unnoticed. We thank you for keeping our residents and community engaged in the latest and greatest news and information. I'm Danya Bazzi, and I'm proud to be 1 in a million.
And now, back to The Splash Live.
Live, local, social. It's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I am your host, Kevin McIntosh. Relief Michigan's 16th biennial Big Tree Hunt runs through August 22nd, 2025, inviting participants of all ages to locate and measure Michigan's largest trees. We spoke with Lindsay Lights, project forester for Relief Michigan, to tell us a little bit more about the biggest trees in Michigan and in West Bloomfield. How you doing, Lindsay?
I'm so happy to be here. How are you?
I'm doing just good. I'm doing just great. Now, we spoke last year about this as well, so I want to kind of briefly talk about that and then just come up to date now. So can you just tell us, how has the Greater West Bloomfield community, our local community, contributed to the Michigan Big Tree Hunt?
Over the years of the contest, it started in 1994, there have been nominations that come from the West Bloomfield and the area around there. In the whole county, Oakland County's always had great participation. One really interesting thing I found looking through the data is that there's people who live in West Bloomfield, but they travel and they go and enter a tree. One I saw was all the way in Ottawa County.
Oh, okay. So I don't know if there's any connection, but has that had any impact on the local conservation efforts?
I think it directly gets people to look outside and care about them. So this project is really that first piece. It's an awareness piece. It's, oh, wow, I never noticed this giant tree on the block, but wow, that's awesome. And I want to take care of my tree so it can get that big.
Yes. Nice. I want to continue to dig a little bit more into this contest and a little bit more as well while we do have you on the program. But besides that, what initiatives has Relief Michigan undertaken to educate some residents of not only just Greater West Bloomfield, but of Michigan about the importance of tree conservation through the Big Tree Hunt?
I'm so happy you asked that. Relief Michigan does a couple different avenues other than the Big Tree Hunt.
Okay.
We do community tree plantings and community presentations. So we planted at Johnson Nature Center last year, and in there we put a sugar bush. So we planted 25 sugar maple trees that will grow up, and eventually they will produce sugar that will produce the sap that makes maple syrup. And that'll be a way to engage students and engage people who want to care about the trees and get some hands-on activities about that. We also do presentations. So in the past, we've done a planting and maintenance presentation. That one was in 2011. Our organization has been around since 1988, doing this across the state. We also came and talked about pruning in 2023. So we do these presentations. They're normally for homeowners directly. They're about a 7 p.m. time at the local library. And anybody who's interested in trees can come and get easy information. They can go back and take care of their trees.
Nice. Okay. Look at that. So you are doing a lot to educate people, not just make this a contest, but let people know the purpose behind it and, the tree conservation and things of that nature. So literally things of that nature. I'm in my own head sometimes. But okay, good to know that. Now, very briefly, are there any groups from West Bloomfield or Greater West Bloomfield or even schools that have come together to participate in the big tree hunt by any chance?
The wild ones of Oakland County, they are a group who they like to plant a lot of native. They like to get seeds, good seed source, and we've done presentations with them. Nice. And we really want to talk to the schools now even more. We want to get the kids out there.
Yeah, no, I agree. Please get them out there. Get them out of school, away from the tablets, the devices. I mean, those are cool every now and then, but outside, I'm always with that as well. With me right here live on the Splash, by the way, from Relief, Michigan, we have Project Forester, Lindsay Lights, just talking about the overall big tree hunt and some of the difference that Greater West Bloomfield residents have made in this contest as well. Now, just continuing on, any notable record-breaking trees that's been discovered in West Bloomfield maybe, or even an area close to us?
Well, I know there's a lot of really special trees there, and that's why it's so important to get this message out to you guys. But none off the top of my head. There are state champions in Oakland County, but we're still looking for a huge one at one of those forests that hasn't been touched for a while, somewhere people haven't been able to go in and cut down, somewhere that's been preserved, maybe somewhere like Bloomer Park. We're still looking for the huge one.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait to see it too. I can't wait to see that too and to see exactly where it is so we can just make it like a big tourist spot as well. Now, in what ways does participating in this big tree hunt benefit some local communities even beyond the environmental awareness aspect?
That's a great question. Just getting outside and into nature, just having our feet on the ground and looking up at trees, that is instantly going to make people feel better. And then that impact multiplies when they enter a tree to the contest. We can share about it as the big tree of the week and just excite people and inspire them to get outside. It's exercise. It's good for your mental health. You can get some really good fresh air, get some nice deep breaths, which in turn will give you some great sleep. Yeah. So we know about those traditional benefits of trees, but hopefully that's a little bit of the extra stuff.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like, get outside and enjoy, especially now that the summer's here. If looking out the window and seeing the sun bright and outside warm doesn't get you outside, I don't know what does. But this is another great reason to do so as well. Now, on the planning and producing side of this entire contest, it's not just all smooth sailing, right? So let's talk about the challenges. What challenges have you faced in promoting this big tree hunt, even specifically in suburban areas like Greater West Bloomfield?
Yes, there's so many people there, and our thing is getting the word out. So we try to get it out with paper entry forms and try to get into the libraries. Some way we've kind of worked with that challenge is we went to the statewide library conference to get in direct communication with the librarians. And there we even had a sign-up sheet for presentations, and about 15 different libraries signed up and asked us to come back to their communities.
Interesting. Okay, so yeah, I feel like once people get the word out, they know about it, then it's like, oh, okay, I didn't even know that was going on. Then they gain interest, and then word of mouth spreads like anything else. So I completely get that as well.
It's an easy contest to enter. We only go by circumference, so it's right the distance around the trunk of the tree where you go up to it and hug it. So it's it's really easy for anybody to join.
Yeah, so, and that was going to be my next question. How does the contest work? Tell people how they can enter and that type of thing. So you just gave a little bit more. Can you please give the full context?
Absolutely. So on our website, bigtreehunt.com, BIGTREEHUNT.com, there is all the information you're going to need and an online entry form with diagrams. But what we're looking for is we're looking for people to go out, pick the biggest tree they know, or even go out to the woods and hunt for the biggest tree they know, and take the circumference measurement. That's the distance all the way around the trunk of the tree. You measure that, take a couple pictures of the tree, and then send that back to us via bigtreehunt.com. We pick winners in different categories. So there's a winner per county. We identified the biggest tree in Oakland County. Right now, you guys are at 11 nominations. That's towards the top, but we could take some more.
Okay.
And it's up from the last time you and I talked on the show. And so we award trees the biggest in each county. We do the biggest white pine in the state. We also do the biggest tree entered in different age groups. So there's multiple ways to win. There's lots of ways to get your special tree admired and recognized.
Nice. Find your special tree and send it in. It could be the most special tree in the state of Michigan. With that being said, Lindsay, thank you so much. Any upcoming events, programs planned for our local communities to further engage the community in tree conservation and education by any chance?
There are tree plantings in the surrounding counties coming up and some presentations, but right now we're still looking to do plantings. There's tree planting application at our website, and there's presentation applications at our website. So we want to come talk to everybody about trees, whether we're getting our hands on the trees or we're coming in talking in a presentation format.
That's right. That's right. Thank you again for your information, your time, and for promoting something like this right here in our Greater West Bloomfield community. Once again, from Relief, Michigan, Project Forester, Lindsay Lights. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
And if you want to find out more information about the Big Tree Hunt in Michigan, go directly to their website, reliefmichigan.org. That's RELEAF Michigan.org. Over the weekend, one of the West Bloomfield High School's biggest football stars returned home to train the next generation of talent. Our very own Jay Schaff was out at the scene to hear all about it.
West Bloomfield High School is already hard at work preparing the next generation of elite Laker athletes. As just recently, former West Bloomfield Laker and current college football star Brandon Davis Swain returned home to his roots for the second annual Brandon Davis Swain Youth Football Camp. A chance for so many young and inspired athletes to come out and learn from one of the best and to put that advice to good use as they prepare themselves to hopefully join Brandon on the field one day.
Oh man, well, it's definitely something we look forward to since last year. We're happy that he's back again the second time in a row. This is a free event that he's offering for the kids. There's a lot of other camps out there, but they all require, a payment. And so the fact that Brandon's still in college, as a college student, has decided to use his time and effort to come out here and give this event for the kids and have kids like my son out here for free. So we appreciate it.
What made you decide to bring your child here today to partake in this fabulous camp?
I brought him here today because I wanted him to see and have the full and true experience of what it is to be a football player. He's really in tune with football, but sometimes it's a bit hard for him just because he sees the battles and the struggles of the other kids and what they can do and what he feels like he's limited to. This is an evolving camp and it's really good for him. And I've known Brandon personally myself, so I feel like Brandon is good outreach on the kids for them to see what they could be in the future.
It's a great feeling, to come back and give to the kids. It's always a great feeling giving back. You're not on the earth for one thing, you're on the earth for multiple things, and one of them giving back to the youth. Yeah, you can't forget where you come from. That's one big thing too. Don't forget where you come from. Always look back and try to improve on how it was a couple years ago till now. So.
How important would you say camps like this are to the kids of the community to really help develop those fundamental football skills?
I think it's important because if the kids come to your camp, they probably look up to you as a college football player. So seeing you, they probably get inspired to do more. In my eyes, like do more, and probably want to play the sport more too.
Super important. I think any youth programming with good people running it are super important for the community, but it's even more special to see somebody like Brandon and his family come out and run something like this for free of charge for the kids. They're feeding the kids today. Every kid gets a free shirt. They're going to have prizes and raffles for all these kids. It's really cool to see an event like this that's being put on for free for everybody.
What do you hope is the biggest thing that your kid and all of the kids take away from this experience today?
Well, what I want them to take away, it's not easy. You got to work hard to get to that level. So I think this creates a habit. So hard work can get you there. So that's my primary take from it. And you get to meet kids from all different teams, and you get to socialize, and then a lot of them will probably be seeing each other in high school, whether on the same team or against each other. So I think it's definitely a good situation.
I feel like it's important for the community to give our kids something to do. There's a lot of things that they could be doing, and to devote their time to come here today and play football and to really show their skills and put forth the work to become something one day, whether it's an NFL player, baseball player, basketball player, what they decide to choose, they have the choice and to know that they could possibly make it in the future.
It's been a very fun and inspiring day for all of these young athletes. And maybe someday, very soon down the line, we'll be seeing them on this very same football field scoring touchdowns under the Friday night lights. For Civic Center TV, I'm Jake Schaff.
Thank you, Jake, and thank you again to Brandon Davis Swain and his family for putting on a great program for the youth in West Bloomfield. I've been your host, Kevin McIntosh. We are live, local, social. It's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.